moment daytime TV officially self-destructed. Not with a bang, but with a viral video, a printed hoodie, and a record deal. Welcome to the Dr. Phil universe, where troubled teens become celebrities, addicts detox in front of a live audience, and therapy turns into a ratings war. But how the hell did we get here?
How about that? Catch me outside. How about that?
Catch you outside?
Let's be real. You think you're immune to the manipulation of daytime television. You think, I don't watch that kind of trash. But deep down, because one day you click that YouTube thumbnail with a crying middle-aged woman and the title, Love Scams, a mother hooked by a catfish, and boom, you were hooked. 1 hour later, you're an expert on mental breakdowns, co-parenting, and why this woman thinks her oven is stalking her. The real challenge here, not why people watch Dr. Phil, but how he managed to convince millions over 2 decades that real therapy works best when broadcast between ads for antacids and fabric softener. So, how do you turn a Texan psychologist into a TV mogul with the moral compass of a laser tag employee? In this video, we're diving into how Dr. Phil transformed from Oprah's favorite courtroom sidekick into the human equivalent of a self-help drive-thru. We'll unpack his origin story, his scandals, his ranch — yes, there's a ranch — and how he managed to end up as both a therapist and a punchline. Oh, and just wait till we get to Shelley Duvall.
I'm gonna kick the living out of that bitch.
Okay.
Calm down, sir.
Whoa.
Calm
Listen,
down.
I don't know what you have on your mind or...
Let it sink in. The man who saved thousands of lives on national television started as a legal consultant. Phil McGraw, Texan, bald, and blessed with the energy of a high school coach with too many opinions, was hired in 1996 to help Oprah Winfrey during a lawsuit involving the Texas cattle industry. Oprah won. Phil got a segment. Viewers said, hey, this guy's deliciously passive-aggressive. And boom, Tuesdays with Dr. Phil was born. He wasn't just Oprah's favorite courtroom sidekick anymore. He was becoming a star in his own right. Even before launching his own show, Dr. Phil had tapped into the booming self-help market. Books like Life Strategies, 1999, Relationship Rescue, 2000, and Self Matters, 2001, made him a best-selling author. By 2001, his books had sold over 3 million copies, a self-help goldmine that launched speaking tours and cemented his brand long before the TV spotlight hit. In 2002, he got his own syndicated talk show. One of the earliest episodes to go viral was the now infamous Cash Me Outside segment featuring 13-year-old Danielle Bregoli. The clip racked up millions of views online, becoming a meme and internet phenomenon overnight. From day one, Dr. Phil was a ratings juggernaut. By 2007, it ranked just behind Oprah as the most watched daytime talk show in America, pulling in over 4 million viewers per episode. The show stayed in the top 5 for nearly 15 years, outlasting rivals like Maury and The Doctors with ease. Audiences tuned in to watch teens spiral out of control. Couples break up on camera, people convinced their cat was out to get them, possibly on orders from beyond the grave. And Phil? He sat there like a Texan Judge Judy, sharp suit, folded hands, ready to save lives, or at the very least sell ad space. In 2002, during the golden age of flip phones, chunky highlights, and Judge Judy marathons, there it was, Dr. Phil, the talk show. Possibly the only place on television where you could get an intervention, a family feud simulator, and a screaming match about custody, all within 44 minutes, excluding commercials. Like Dr. Phil would say, you don't need a therapist, you need me. Sure, Phil, because who needs a licensed professional when you can be therapized by a bald man with the energy of a sports coach and the moral compass of an inflatable doll?
Parent?
Yes.
Listen, I'm a parent, and I get that. I'm trained as a clinical psychologist, a forensic psychologist.
The magic was in the formula. Every episode was a carefully staged emotional car crash, with just enough structure to call it therapy. The guests? Dads convinced their kids were in a cult. Moms convinced their daughters were stripping. Spoiler, they were. Teens selling stolen cars on Craigslist for crack. The audience? Ready to judge, ready to cry, and most of all, ready to scream at their TV, yes, Dr. Phil, give her hell. Dr. Phil didn't offer healing. He offered structure. A Texan tie full of judgment, wrapped in folksy wisdom. Psychology Today once called it therapy theater, more spectacle than solution. 6 words that triggered more trauma than most custody battles. Each episode followed the now iconic formula: trauma, confrontation, solution. The typical setup? A guest arrived with a problem so over the top it felt scripted.
My son Oren thinks he's a cyborg from the year 2050.
Dr. Phil would dig in with a few probing questions, toss in a skeptical expression, and just like that, viral gold. The clips exploded online, and the sponsors couldn't be happier. And the kicker? Dr. Phil often sent guests off for professional help, which usually meant a stay at some dubious treatment facility, like Turnabout Ranch, a strange mix of therapy, reality TV, and literal horse manure. We'll get to that later, when we unpack the ranch, the pills, the booze, and the total collapse of ethical standards. Just when you thought, okay, this is it, this is the peak, came the next level. The Dr. Phil expanded universe. He continued to publish books, launched speaking tours, and yes, even sold weight loss supplements. Yes, the man who spent 90% of his screen time sitting down was selling pills to help people be more active. Spoiler, those supplements became the subject of a $10.5 million class action settlement in 2006. But hey, pocket change for a man with his own ranch, his own bookshelf, and his face on 18 different coffee mugs. So yes, Dr. Phil became a phenomenon. Oprah's Frankenstein, but with a microphone instead of a sword. He made mental health mainstream, packaged it like fast food, and sold it as infotainment. And honestly, it worked. Until it didn't. So there he sat, on his throne of moral high ground, money, and faux humility. Dr. Phil had millions of viewers, Emmy nominations, his own ranch, and a rather flexible definition of ethics. Oh, and in case you're wondering, no, Dr. Phil hasn't been a licensed psychologist since 2006, which means that for most of his TV reign, America's favorite therapist was legally just a bald guy with a catchphrase and a camera crew. But then, sometime in the mid-2010s, things started to crack. Not his knees, he's had those adjusted since 2009, but his image. It started small. A slip-up that lawyers diplomatically call a multi-million-dollar settlement with no admission of guilt. Enter the Shape-Up diet pills sold under the tagline, "Lose weight with the power of Dr. Phil." Problem, they didn't work. Worse, they sparked lawsuits. Solution, a $10.5 million payout in 2006, $4.5 million in cash, and $6 million in product credit. Dr. Phil personally paid nothing. And then came the real fireworks. Behind-the-scenes horror stories from guests, staff, and people who thought they'd get therapy, but ended up in a Black Mirror episode.
I had a bad few weeks. And I fell off the bandwagon, and
Todd Herzog, Survivor winner, visibly intoxicated on set, he arrived so hammered he could barely sit up. He later alleged, when I got there, there was a bottle of vodka waiting in my dressing room. And yes, someone gave him Xanax. The show denied providing alcohol. Nothing says responsible recovery like a minibar and a sedative before airtime.
I am scared to death right now. I hope that she doesn't get... I don't know what the heck she's doing. This is crazy.
Jordan, a pregnant heroin addict, filmed seeking drugs on Skid Row. No medical supervision, no intervention, just a camera crew. Journalists might call it embedded reporting. Ethicists might call it, what the hell? Shelley Duvall, actress and the shining icon brought on screen during a mental health crisis. The segment was titled A Hollywood Star's Descent into Mental Illness. No nuance, just raw footage. Mia Farrow and Vivian Kubrick called it exploitative. Dr. Phil defended the airing, insisting it was meant to help. Turnabout Ranch, real therapy or dystopian western? Dr. Phil's go-to facility for troubled teens. Think horses, fences, and staff who looked ready for alien containment duty. Danielle Bergoli, a.k.a. Cash Me Outside, claimed she was sleep-deprived, denied showers, and psychologically broken. She also claimed she witnessed another girl being sexually assaulted and punished after reporting it. Another teen, Hannah Archuleta, filed a lawsuit in 2021 for abuse. It was dismissed in 2021 due to lack of evidence. BuzzFeed, Vice, and Rolling Stone later reported extensively on these controversies, raising public pressure and corporate concern. What began as help with flair devolved into moral circus disguised as therapy. Psychologists and ethics boards called it out. This isn't therapy, this is performance. Dr. Phil's image shifted from Oprah's confidant to Jerry Springer with a PowerPoint, and yet he endured. Ratings stayed strong, fans remained loyal, but public respect, it slipped like a diet pill down the back of a studio couch. Dr. Phil's legacy depends entirely on who you ask. Ask his fans. He's the man who made mental health discussable, helped thousands, and at least tells it like it is. Ask former guests, psychologists, TikTokers, or BuzzFeed. He's a talk show loop of exploitation and cheap drama, packaged as help, reheated in the microwave of the Oprah empire. Some see him as a savior, others as duct tape on an open wound. Looks sturdy, but it's still bleeding underneath. Let's be fair, Dr. Phil's show did help people. Therapies were offered, treatments paid for, kids were placed into care. According to his production team, over $35 million in therapy-related services were provided, most of it after the episodes aired. But also true, a lot of that happened after the cameras stopped rolling, after the audience went to lunch, after Twitter moved on. The real help came later, what you saw on screen, the preview of the breakdown, the close-up of the fight. The tear, not the therapy, not the healing, and that is how you turn therapy into theater. Maybe you're sitting there thinking, but isn't it good he gave people a platform? Sure, just like it's great to live stream open heart surgery while the surgeon negotiates a Red Bull sponsorship mid-operation. Good intentions aren't the same as good execution, and helping someone while cutting to 150 ads is not therapy. That's daytime television. So next time you wonder if a TV doctor really wants to heal your trauma or just wants the views, check if there's a close-up of your crying mom. If the answer is yes, run. And just like that, the doors close on America's favorite TV therapist. Was he a trailblazer? Maybe. Was he a walking business model with a mustache? Without a doubt. If this deep dive into the world of Dr. Phil made you laugh, cringe, or question reality just a little, please like the video. Subscribe for more takedowns of pop culture and television absurdity. And tell us into the comments which Dr. Phil episode is forever burned into your brain. Maybe it's the one where a woman calmly claimed she was God, 19 billion years old, and could cure cancer with her hands. Yes, that actually aired. And while we joke, let's not forget, behind every meme was a real breakdown, one that never asked for ratings. So if anyone ever turns to you and says, "How's that working for you?" run. Because next stop is Utah, with a horse and a camera crew. In the end, Dr. Phil didn't heal America's pain. He syndicated it.